Welcome to the University of Limpopo. This is the official inauguration of the Student Representative Council for the period 2021-2022. This is the time where we introduce the leaders into the student community of the University of Limpopo so they can know who is to represent them, who is to represent their views, who is to have involvement and have them represented in their student life throughout their degree programs. Welcome to the SRC official inauguration at the University of Limpopo. This is where leaders are born. This is where characteristics of good leadership will be seen and observed. This is a breeding ground for good leaders, not only for our universities, but for our country. We will kickstart the events by inviting the Dean of Students, Dr. Masipa, to welcome us into this official ceremony of the University of Limpopo. Dean Masipa, may you kindly welcome us into the ceremony.
Good afternoon to you, Master of Ceremonies, the Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Limpopo, the Honorable Professor Mokhalong, the Deputy Vice Chancellors, Professor Madaje and Professor Singh, the Registrar of the University, Professor Masha, Executive Deans of Faculties, Professor Suweya, Professor Mautu, Professor Sibanda, and Professor Mutiba, Advocate Bonelisi in your very self, the Executive Directors of Support Divisions, including the Acting CFO, other members of the Executive Management Committee, Mr. Moloto, Mr. Maredi, Ms. Sitkolo, Mr. Homeswana, members of Senate of the University, members of the Institutional Forum, the SRC, the leadership of the students, directors of schools and other administrative sectors, our honorable teaching and administrative colleagues, the honorable students of the University of Limpopo as a whole, the student population, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I hope I have not left anybody out. If I did, I do apologize. Sorry, there was some interruption in my office here, sorry. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to this grand occasion. It is indeed a grand occasion wherein the leadership of the students are being inaugurated and they are going to be going through the process of being bestowed with the honor of the leadership of the students. I highly appreciate the fact that all of you are here and listening, and I'm hoping that you'll have a good time. Please relax, sit and relax and watch the process and enjoy it. I think it's going to be enjoyable this year. I have seen some things that are happening outside, so we are looking forward to seeing the leadership. Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you very much, Dean Masipa. That was the Dean of Students at the University of Limpopo, and this is the leadership with which the Student Representative Council will be working with. Thank you very much for the welcoming words. The student leadership will be representing the students in all faculties with the executive deans, and they will be representing within the faculties in all the schools with the directors of the schools. And they will be leading the students and representing their views in those forms. So we will listen now to a message of support from the university management representing the Vice Chancellor of the University of Limpopo. We have the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Research and Innovations, Professor Jessica Singh, who will be working with the Student Council at the executive level because the university management will be directly interacting with the students so their views can be heard in all the organizational structures of the university. Let us listen to the message of support from the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Singh.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Prof. Matseba. The Dean of Students, together with all the other management team members, as well as the beautiful students who are ready to be inaugurated today. It's a very, very special day, and I just want to greet you all on behalf of the Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Limpopo, Professor Mokholong. He's unfortunately had an emergency, so he's unable to be here today. But I bring you his warmest greetings and also a message of support from himself together with the entire management team at the University of Limpopo. As I mentioned, it's a very important day in the lives of our student leaders. Today, you are being officially inaugurated into the Student Representative Council of the University of Limpopo for the 2021-22 academic year. So it's crucial for us to be able to support you through this process as a university, and also to encourage you through this process, and also to be your mentors and your guides as you learn through this process of being a student leader. And many of you have entered into uh, into this role, not knowing exactly the full extent of what is required of you throughout this year. So we want to support you as the management of the university throughout your period in office. And also we want to guide you through this period because we believe that this is a very important time in your life. It's a very important time in terms of the future of your career. And it's important for us as a university that you are here as student leaders. And we want to say, well done in terms of being elected into office. But as you officially are inaugurated into the role that you're going to play, it also brings a lot of uh, responsibilities that you are going to be encountering. And it's important for us as a university that you take on these responsibilities and you play your role in terms of the life, in terms of the university and what you're going to offer at the university, what you're going to offer other students at the university. So in supporting you, in offering you words of advice, and also just generally welcoming you into this important leadership position, I also want to say I watched a few of you come into the venue. Fortunately, we have a screen on our side here that we can see you, and you're really looking good. Those uniforms look smart on you, and I can see you as future professionals, very elegantly and beautifully dressed. So you are looking good, and that's one of the hallmarks of a special occasion where everybody is at looking their best. And you're officially stepping into office today, and you are looking the role as well. So I did mention that with the type of leadership roles that you are actually engaging in comes a lot of responsibility and also accountability to the entire student population for this whole year of your reign there as a student leader. So in terms of a message that I have for you, I have penned a simple one. Well, not really penned it, but I just want to speak from the heart. It's a very simple message to you, and I hope that you will remember that this message, not only today in terms of your inauguration ceremony, but in terms of your future as a leader, because we see in you potential great leaders of the future in terms of our country, in terms of business, in terms of other leadership roles. But you have already stepped into the shoes. So, and it's something that you have heard about before. The word for today is service. Service. And I just want to ask you to really carefully ponder on this and ask yourself, what does it mean to serve? What does it mean to serve? And I was also fortunate to, just before we started the session, to be listening in on two colleagues, the Dean of Students and the program director, who were having a conversation. And I really reflected on that as a form of service. if you're not aware, the program director, Prof. Matsebatela, not only is a astute academic, but he's also a musician, or should I say, a singer, or he is plays many roles in terms of the UL choir. We can call him the conductor or the choir master or the leader of the UL choir. But the conversation went like this, about the role, what's going on there, and how you serve in terms of the choir. And what struck me was he mentioning that you don't get paid for this job. This is not really a job. It's more of a passion. It's giving of yourself, and it's something that you love doing. And it really struck me that this is what we mean when we say service. How do you serve? What does it mean to serve? By that very conversation that I was listening to, I could hear that it involved a lot of love for what is it that you are doing, a lot of dedication, because there's numerous hours and of organizing, etc., that very few people see, but it has to happen in the background. And a lot of commitment. You commit to a cause. You don't, there's a very famous scripture that you put your hand to the plow and you do not turn back. So you commit to something and you give your full heart and soul to it. A lot of passion is involved. And all this versus I want to do this because it will pay me. I will get money for this. But a life of service and serving students means much more than just a paycheck. Serving students is actually this dedication that we're speaking about. And very often it's not your own interests that are prominent or predominant or a priority. You're always interested in the interests of others, and that is also service to mankind, and in this case, service to your fellow students. And basically, we say service is for why do we serve in different positions? It's for the general good. It's for the good of the university. It's for the good of other students. And when you're serving others, intrinsically it changes you as a person, because when you're serving others, you're giving off yourself, and you have enough room to fill in all the good that others can also offer to you. And very often we say that you either in service, in people who are in offices such as yourself, you either use it or you abuse it. You can use this office that we are entrusting you with for the good, as I've mentioned before. You use it for a cause, for a purpose. But there are many cases where people abuse it as well. So I also want to encourage you that use it for the common good of students and yourselves, but do not abuse this important office that you are being inaugurated into today. Very often we see our public servants. Remember, they called public servants, serving the public. I mean, you all know what happens in terms of a lot of these offices, in terms of how they serve. Very often it becomes a self-enriching exercise. So these are the things that are actually warning us of what not to do. So we are entrusting you to be good servants of our students. And well, I wasn't very impressed on the serving note that some of you started off with today. Punctuality is a very good, the humble point of service, where you're serving people and you arrive on time. So that is a good starting point. Let's be punctual in terms of everything that we do. So a few other points that I'd like to leave you with now is on service to the students. Service is selfless. Service is love. In terms of who are you loving? You're loving your fellow students, you're loving the sector, you're loving the university. There's so many things you can say that you love, right? And also you want to see your fellow students progress, you want to see them in successful careers. Service is also sacrifice. You will find yourselves very often in positions of having to sacrifice a lot of things, your time, your energy, your resources. And those are some of the hallmarks of people who serve. And then you ask yourself, very often people say, I will serve, but what's in it for me? So if you are starting off on that note, it's not the right way to go, because you've lost the plot, you've lost the whole purpose of being in service of other students. So my advice to you would be that, dear SRC, our representatives of all our students, dear SRC leaders, please serve with distinction. Do the university, yourselves, your fellow students, make them proud of you. You must be a cut above the rest. As I said, you look so beautiful today. You are a cut above the rest. So serve in the same manner, with great distinction, with great humility as well. Serve empathetically. What do we mean by empathetic? You give a listening ear to your fellow students. You lend a hand to your fellow students. You understand where they're coming from. These are great hallmarks of service. So I just want to end here and congratulate you all, and also encourage you all that as a university, we're here to support you, and we look forward to having a very productive year together with you, you and the students at the university. It's very trying times, as you can see, in terms of what COVID has done to us, in terms of the pandemic and health and the kind of people we've lost. There's just a whole range of things. It's just a new era for us. And we are so encouraged that you are there with us during this era so that we can all negotiate and together serve the students of this university together with the communities around us. So I want to wish you everything of the best on the special day. It's an inauguration day for you. Please enjoy the day and take it seriously, because you're entering officially a life of service. And I hope and pray that everything would go well with you in your careers, in your programs that you enroll for at the university, as well as way beyond today. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a wonderful day. Over to you, Program Director.
Thank you, Professor Singh. That was the Professor Singh, the DVC, Deputy Vice Chancellor in Research, Innovation and Partnerships. Wonderful words indeed of support from the university management on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, and service being the word that she used there. I was privileged to listen to one of her talks when she was motivating leaders about the kind of mistakes that can be allowed to be done in their service to the communities and service to others. And just briefly, she mentioned two things there, and there are two types of mistakes, and this you must take to heart as you lead other people. There's one mistake that can never be mended, and there's the one mistake that can be mended. And she gave an example of a plastic plate, that you can drop a plastic plate and you can pick it up and polish it here and there, wash it and reuse it just as good as new as you found it. It can still be used. And you can take the same plate but made of glass. If you drop it and the glass shatters on the floor, no matter what glue you use, that plate can never be the same again, and you cannot use that plate to eat on it anymore. Two mistakes. One, we can look back and say, yeah, we forgive you because that is a kind of mistake that people do because it's forgivable. And one mistake that if you do make, it breaks student lives, it breaks students' futures, it breaks students' hopes. So be careful of the type of mistakes that you do as you serve and become accountable to others. Thank you, Professor Singh. We still remember some of the words that you say in those occasions. We will now go and welcome the Director of Student Life, Governance and Development, Mr. Melusi Nxumalo, to introduce to us who are these people who the student community elected into position. Who are we here for? Let us get the introduction of the Student Representative Council by the Director of Student Life, Governance and Development, Mr. Melusi Nxumalo. Mr. Nxumalo, up to you.
Thank you very much, Program Director. I want to extend my greetings to the Vice Chancellor in absentia, members of the Executive Management. It is my pleasure that today my task is to introduce to you, as the university, the members of the SRC that will in 2021 to 2022. And I'm excited that they'll be carrying their responsibilities with such weight of strong empowerment from Professor Singh. Through your permission, Chair, as I go through with this exercise of introducing them, may I request for your permission to invite Advocate Freki Ponelis to assist in the process, as well as I'll invite a member to the podium, and the process of swearing in will take place as the person is in the podium. Can I confirm if Advocate Ponelis is there as well?
Yes, no, I'm here. I'll do so. Thank you very much.
Okay. Colleagues, I'll start with by introducing members of the SRC executive. I'll start right at the top and introduce the students and the members of to the students and the members of staff, the president of the SRC. I would like to invite on the podium Mr. Kwena Brian Tsiri, who is the SRC president. Mr. Tsiri. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I will now hand you over to Advocate Ponelis.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tsiri. Please, will you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I do hereby solemnly swear.
I do hereby solemnly swear
That I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution.
Okay. I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
And the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position
I will hold my position
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You can sign. I believe the form has been given to you. You can then just sign at the bottom, and I will countersign afterwards.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for committing and binding yourself to take care of our students. Thank you very much. Can I then go ahead, colleagues, and to the students and introduce to them their Deputy President for 2021 and invite on stage Mr. Khatatso Kanya as he ascends the stage and we observe the protocols of COVID. Advocate Ponelis, at this stage, I would like to hand over the Deputy President to you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kanyane, would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. You may then proceed to sign the form in front of you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, Deputy President, for committing yourself. Can I now go ahead and invite the Secretary General of the SRC, inviting Mr. Makungu Dylan Shai to ascend the stage? Whilst we observe the protocols of COVID, Mr. Shai is now on the stage.
Thank you.
Advocate, can I now hand him over to you?
You may. Thank you. Mr. Shai, would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position
I will hold my position
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. You may then proceed to sign the form.
Thank you very much, Secretary. Thank you very much, Mr. Shai. I now go ahead to invite the Deputy Secretary of the SRC. I'm inviting on stage Mr. Terence Mpaki, as we are cleaning through COVID rules, and making sure the pen is also sanitized. Advocate, please, I now hand over to you, Mr. Terence Mpaki, the Deputy Secretary General.
Thank you. Mr. Mpaki, would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. You may now sign the form.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mpaki. I now go ahead and invite the last member of the Executive Committee of the SRC. I'm inviting the Treasurer General of the SRC by the name of Ms. Sikhulile Inki Mashaba to ascend the stage. Thank you very much. Advocate, I now hand over to you, Ms. the Treasurer General.
Ms. Mashaba, may you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo,
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, ma'am. You may now sign the form.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shaba. Now, this concludes the swearing in of the members of the executive. I now move to invite members of the chairpersons of faculties. I start with Mr. Clarence Longatini Mnisi to ascend the stage. Mr. Mnisi is a faculty chairperson from Faculty of Humanities. Advocate, I now hand over Mr. Mnisi, over to you.
Good day, sir. May you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby solemnly swear that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo,
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much, sir. You may now sign the form.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mnisi. I now move to the Faculty of Management and Law and invite the Faculty Chairperson of Management and Law, Mr. Makonyane Sejapala. Advocate, I now hand over Mr. Yapana to interview.
Good day, sir. May you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution,
and the rules of the University of Limpopo.
rules of the University of Limpopo.
I will hold my position
I will hold my position
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. You may now sign the form.
Thank you very much, Mr. Session. Thank you very much, Mr. Seshabala. I now move to the Faculty of Science and Agriculture and invite the faculty chairperson, Mr. Tabo Siabonga Moshabe. Advocate, I now hand over Mr. Chairman to you.
Thank you very much, sir. May you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution.
I will
obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. You may now sign the form.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bishop. I now move to the Faculty of Health Sciences and invite Mr. Tapelo Malachi, who is the faculty chairperson for the Faculty of Health Sciences, to ascend the stage. Advocate, I'm now handing over Mr. Malachi to you.
Thank you very much. May you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you so much, sir. You may sign the form.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Malach. And then this concludes the faculty chairpersons. I now move to invite additional members of the SRC, starting with the Office of Constitution, Policy and Legal Affairs. I invite Ms. Noko Francina Rasefati. Thank you, Ms. Rasefati. I'm now handing you over to Advocate.
Good, Ms. Rasefati, would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, ma'am. You may sign the form.
Thank you, Ms. Rasefati. I now move to invite the Office of Culture and Religion, inviting to ascend the stage. I'm inviting Ms. Pakisho Paulina Tasha. Thank you, Ms. Pasha. I now hand you over to Advocate.
Ms. Pasha, would you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and a faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, ma'am. You may sign the form.
Thank you, Ms. Pasha. I now move to the office of the disability representative. I'm inviting Mr. Nsindiso Nkala to ascend the stage. Thank you very much, Mr. Nkala. I now hand you over to Advocate Cornelius.
May you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. You may sign the form.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mkalanga. I now move to invite the Office of Gender, Health and Wellness. I'm inviting Ms. Miriam Mabocha to ascend the stage. As you take your position, thank you, Ms. Mabocha. I now hand you over to Advocate Cornelius.
Ms. Mabocha, may you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
That I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, ma'am. You may sign the form.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mabocha. I now move to invite the Office of Student Residencies and Safety, inviting to ascend the stage, Ms. Nomonde Sihesenkosi Kase. Ms. Kaiser, I now hand you over to Advocate Cornelis.
Ms. Kasi, may you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, ma'am. You may sign the form.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kase. I now to invite the Office of Sport and Recreation, inviting Mr. Timbinkosi Mpokane to ascend the stage. Thank you very much, Mr. Mpokane. I now hand you over to Advocate Cornelis.
Mr. Mbokani, may you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. You may sign the form.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mpokane. I then move to invite the Office of the Projects Officer, inviting Mr. Mahomo Clifford Chweni to ascend the stage. Mr. Chweni, I now hand you over to Advocate Cornelis.
Mr. Trainee, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo
that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution
and the rules of the university.
and the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
I will hold my position to the best of my ability
and be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
and be a true and
faithful member of the SRC. A true and faithful member.
And be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. You may sign the form.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chin. I now move to invite the last member of the additional members in the SRC, inviting the Office of Mass Communication and Publicity. And I invite Ms. Chivusiwe Mutavasindi to ascend the stage. Thank you very much. Ms. Mutavasindi, I'm handing you over to Advocate Cornelius.
Ms. Mutabatsindi, may you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby solemnly swear that I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
That I will be faithful to the University of Limpopo.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution.
I will obey and uphold the SRC Constitution.
And the rules of the university.
And the rules of the university.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability.
I will hold my position to the best of my ability.
And be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
And be a true and faithful member of the SRC.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, ma'am. You may sign the form.
While she's signing program director, I will confirm that there are 17 members of the SRC, and this marks the end of my exercise to introduce them in the university. Thank you very much for affording me the opportunity. Thank you. Program director, I've concluded my exercise. I now hand it back over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nimalo. I think the university community has seen with eagerness their complete leadership. They have been introduced to the university community, and now they know who to go. They know who's the president, they know the executive leadership, and they know the faculty and the school leaderships. They know where to go and where their views are going to be aired and represented. We will now take the moment to invite the leader of the contingency, the man who will be the voice of the whole entire leadership community of the University of Limpopo Student Representative Council, the president of the SRC, to come forth and deliver to what the student community will be expecting. What are the expectations? What hopes do they pin their leadership to? Where do they put their aspirations? Where is the ship going? We will listen to the president of the SRC as he introduces himself to the university community and welcomes them, welcomes their views, welcomes their thoughts. As he engages with the university management, as he engages with the views of the students, creating a link between the university leadership and the university community of the students. What do we expect? Ladies and gentlemen, the SRC president, we have here for you, standing in front of you to introduce himself, Mr. Kwena Brian Thierry, to deliver his acceptance speech. Brian, please greet the audience, greet the university community, greet the student university community you represent, and tell us your thoughts.
Thanks very much. Greetings to everyone who's present in this magnificent conference. My name is Brian Thierry, the sitting president of the SRC, appointed for the year 2021-2022. The SRC is bestowed in this significant time of the novel coronavirus. Why in the fourth wave, guys? We know that it's not easy to operate in this time. It's hard, but I believe that all of us will come out through. We'll make sure that we'll try by all means to tackle issues where possible and improve everything. As you can see, that I'm confident enough to represent students of the entire university community. It's my nature, guys. What I like to say to my colleagues as the SRC employees of the year 2021-2022 is that this is your time, guys. Grab the opportunity, use it. To the University of Limpopo student, I would like to take this opportunity to tell you that in each and every problems that will be sending to us of saying we're having problems, SRCs, please tackle them. I want to assure you that as the SRC representative, we're going to make sure that we'll be tackling all the issues and we'll be addressing your issues on time. By doing that, as the SRC representative, we'll be regarded as the champions of service delivery. I don't want to take much of the time. As the SRC leadership, I want to show you that, and I'll show you that we as the SRC deployed in 2021 to 2022, we don't do unnecessary promises, but commitment as I submit. Thank you very much.
I was the SRC president, Brian Kwena Thierry, who has just delivered his acceptance speech, and he has introduced himself to the university community and most importantly, to the student university community of the University of Limpopo. These are the student leaders who are going to create a turf, a ground for their skills to be shining through, for the student community to feel more important, to feel more cared for, and their views to be communicated to the entire university community, their views to be represented in the university management organizational structures. And these are the student leaders who are going not only to lead our university community of students, but in future, we expect that those etiquettes, those characteristics of service, of good leadership to be shining through and to come through not only for our university, but to the future, that when we look at it, we will say, this is the future we want to be counted in. That was the Student Representative Council of the University of Limpopo, and they are now being officially recognized, officially sworn into action, and officially now accountable to the future of our students at the University of Limpopo. Welcome to service at the University of Limpopo. Thank you very much for joining us. That was the inauguration, official inauguration of the Student Representative Council at the University of Limpopo. May God help you to lead us through with big strides and pride. And as we, in our motto, seek solutions for Africa, be part of it and be proud of the results at the end. Thank you.